Alright, so what I'm talking through is going to be about order blocks because I know a lot of people don't correctly mark them up, and I used to be the same. And I've like haven't found this way. I've learned it from like YouTube and shit like that. Kind of like practiced it a bit more. But I'm gonna show you such like a piss easy way to like refine order blocks. So so you like hop on in the morning. Obviously this is London session, this is start of New York. Well, this is London kill zone, this is start of New York. But obviously you're looking for key areas like above and below liquidity to take trades from and shit like that. So from hit from this morning, I woke up and I immediately looked at this order block here, but I was looking at it in the 5 minute, and I refined it to this. So these two candles right here, that was what I refined it to for the moment, and I knew that there'll be a
Okay.
reaction off of that because obviously there was a breaker structure here
Are you
caused by that.
hey, are you sharing your screen right now?
Oh my God, yeah, I didn't share. My bad.
Yeah, I can't see, bruv.
Sorry,
I was wondering.
I started recording it, but I didn't share my screen. Lol. So yeah, so I this is the order block I was talking about on the 5 minute. Refined it to these two candles here because it shows like an internal range on the 1 minute and on the seconds. It's a big range, so I knew that that would be a key point for like sell off because obviously it created a breaker structure here. It's above Asia liquidity, like it's perfect essentially. So I was kind of waiting for it to tap in, or I was going to buy up to that. And what we've seen on the 15 minute is all these like daily liquidities just taken out in by entering this order block here, followed by just a straight up move to my point of interest. And with these points of interest, I'm going to show you how to mark them out properly, and I'll show you multiple examples as well, because this is like such a foolproof way of like not getting in like on inducement and stuff like that, you know. So wait, actually, I'll highlight it all. So this is our order block. That's what we're looking at. And on the 1 minute, what we're looking for, because obviously it's a bullish order block, what we're looking for the last, um, like we're looking for the whole down move before the push up. So we can see in this order block here that this is like the lowest part of the order block, and then we're looking at what caused this like essentially like an internal swing low. What caused this candle here? So we're looking for the market to enter there, exactly there, and we want to see a reaction off of, which obviously, like I caught it's in winning trades, it's in everything. I got MetaTrader 5 proof and everything. Got got the reaction, entered instantly, took it all the way up to liquidity, but I could have taken it to the order block, but I just decided to stick with that. Now with this next trade, we're looking at this 15 minute order block. And within this 15-minute order block, we're looking for the high, which is obviously this part here. This is the high. And what caused that high? It's this order block here. So we're waiting for the market to enter like the internal swing low. So this is the low. We're waiting for the market to hit that before reversing. And you'll see, I'll show you other examples as well. But it's so perfect because obviously, because I trade off reactions, um, this is really helpful because obviously this whole section here is within the order block. So I could have seen this reaction here and gone, oh, okay, great. Let me just hop in there. Stops just above. It's tapped me out there, you know? So because I've refined it to that 1 minute like swing low to swing high, second it's tapped it, got a reaction, it's gone. And I've taken it to 5 minute order block down here that caused the breaker structure here, breaker structure here. Do you guys understand?
Bruv, I'm so lost, bruv. I can't lie.
Alright, alright,
Lost
alright.
me.
Same,
I'll show you
man.
more
Same.
examples. So, for this example here, this is in the wrong place, but I just dragging it across as much as possible.
Also, how do you get your lines to be dead straight like that?
Shift, hold
Exactly.
shift while you're like
Okay.
dragging across. And if you want it like at the top of
But
something or like on one of the candles and hold control and it like snaps to there, I guess.
Okay.
So for this move here, uh, yes, this one here. So for this move, we're looking obviously I'm ignoring all my biases for the day because obviously I can't remember what my bias was. I'm guessing it's going to be a buy until like a certain point. So I'm looking for a buy here, and we noticed that this whole area here is what caused the push up. And on the hourly, you'll probably look better on the hourly. No, yeah, kind of. Well, you could just tell this was the whole like move here, including like this whole bit here. All of this was the like cause of the breaker structure here, breaker structure here. So I went down to the, wait, I need to highlight it first actually. So all of this. So what we're looking for the low of all of this, which is obviously, even though it was news or it was like reset, when is it? Monday, yeah, it was the reset. So even though it's the reset, this was the low. And what caused that low? This order, this like order block up here. So we were waiting for the market to retrace, tap that order block, which it did, had a reaction, gone. And then same with the next one. Obviously this, so you can tell this is London like session because it's had the sweep of liquidity all the way down here, had all this sweep, then open of a new session, and even though my because it's a new session, obviously there's going to be liquidity sweeps because of like obviously different institutions coming in, but we still know that it's going to be bullish for like the time being, maybe for the day, maybe for the 2 days, whatever. So we're still looking for buys, and we can tell here that this order block here, well, technically, this whole order block here caused this break structure, caused like all these minor break structures, caused break structure here as well. And because it caused all that break structure and it's below all this liquidity, we know that like realistically we're gonna get a reaction there. So we've highlighted that order block and we're looking for the low and what created that low. So this one's a bit trickier because obviously you're just essentially looking for 1 minute candles that signify like an internal range. So in this whole
hey,
area, yeah,
sorry, man. I'm
it's okay.
totally lost in narrative. Is it me or anybody else too?
Yeah, bro, I'm completely lost, bro.
It,
You speak so fast, you go through it so fast because, like, in your head, you understand this shit. Like, I'm just like
Can
explaining it.
you?
But for me,
Yeah,
like, you
I
need to
think
go into
this
detail with
should
fucking
be.
every little thing, bro. Like, I have
Yeah,
no idea. Like,
I think
literally,
yeah, okay, yeah, okay.
this is why I wanted you
so.
to record it, so I can just go
You can
back and
zoom
just like,
out. If you
Yeah,
can zoom out, you can maybe even use bar replay tool, or
I don't
maybe
have bar
start
replay.
with the higher time frame picture, then narrow it to LTF because it's a lot to digest right now.
No, no, that's the point of it. You don't need a high time frame picture for it because you're refining your like 5 minute and 15 minute order blocks. I'm just essentially I'm not going through like a whole trading plan. I'm just explaining why like these order blocks essentially.
Yeah, but I think it's going overhead right now. I don't know why, but
So if I'm correct, so what you're saying is we're waiting for a break of structure in a 5 minute time frame and then define the order blocker. Is it correct or
So
I'm missing something?
my strategy is based on obviously um having a daily bias. So like markets like um market's intention essentially. You need to know the market's intention, and then once you know the intention, like as in where it's going to go, then as in bullish or bearish, then you're essentially at the London Open or New York Open, whatever you guys trade. You're waiting for a big like liquidity sweep followed. Well, for me, you could either have it two different ways. Luke does it that he's waiting for the liquidity sweep followed by a market structure shift in the lower time frames, and then getting in on order blocks or first tap or whatever. I don't really know how much like how he enters, but for mine it's just knowing the market bias, having liquidity sweep into an order block created a breaker structure and then just entering based off reaction.
Okay, can you give an example? Let's say Monday. Let's start from Monday.
All right. So this was a market structure shift because I had a bearish bias. So because who's joined now? Luke
Something, bro.
Wagwan. So because I had
Hey,
a
what's up?
bearish bias for this day, then obviously I was waiting for a sweep of liquidity, which is right here, followed by
And,
followed
and
by
why
a
the bearish bias? Because we had a huge
uh
rally up.
let me get I had a bearish bias because this is I remember now, this is an hourly low, and this hourly low got broken, and then
Okay.
it was unable to close above the high. So you can see it's tried for the high, it's wicked it but it hasn't closed. Tried for the high, wicked it, hasn't closed, came back up. Yes, it closed above, but it was just liquidity sweep in my eyes. So because it's failing to close above and it's broken
Mhm.
this 1 hour low, then I was like assuming there's going to be bearish for like intraday.
Like, what are some things you look for when you're like finding your daily bias as well? Like, what are just like some like just key things you look for?
So I like to mark up a range. So I'll show you for that day especially. It was this day, so it's this Monday, yeah. So I like to
Yeah.
mark up a range. What created the high? What created the low? Essentially. So
Okay.
I've looked on Monday. I've gone okay. So from far left, this created a high, and then it's had a pullback and created another low, another higher low. So this is the current higher low, followed by high high, followed by a lower low. So then seeing that, I'm like, okay, it's going to be bearish, and because obviously up here hasn't broke this high, hasn't created a new high. This hasn't created a new high. It's come back up. It's just going to sweep the liquidity. It hasn't obviously this wick here and this like body here did close above the high down here, but I just know from experience that it's come up just to take the liquidity from these two previous highs, nothing more. So
Yeah.
because it's failing to break the highs and we've had this 1 hour break structure or market structure shift, and I knew it was going to be bearish for the day or for like session or whatever, you know.
Okay.
Okay. One question is, at any point of time you figure out you're wrong. Let's say your bias is bearish and the market goes bullish against your bias. How would you know that or switch to the other side?
I wouldn't. So like today I knew it was going to be bearish, and like I
Uh-huh.
said, I was just waiting for it to. I knew it was going to be bearish today, and I'll explain that here as well. So on here, obviously, internally, like on the 1 hour, I'm still technically bearish. Well, no, I would have been bullish on the 1 hour, and then after this low got broken here and closed below here, then I was back to being bearish, and then obviously this low got broken as well, bearish. So like I had bearish like bias in mind, but I still kept my like mind open for buyers as well. So knowing this, I'm looking for a liquidity sweep into a point of interest to go short. So I was waiting for it to obviously enter my order block, which I refined to this entry here. And because it had a push down here and it reacted off a bullish order block, I knew that it was going to realistically come up to sweep liquidity to then push further back down. So then it entered my, I took it up to my order block obviously, and then did exactly what I thought. So it isn't whether I'm wrong or not. I'm not usually wrong about daily bias, and if I am wrong about daily bias, I usually miss out on the day because, like I said on here, I knew it's going to be bearish at some point. So either I'm taking buys up to my bearish order block, or I'm gonna hop into a sell. Like say right here, just carrying on going up, it blasted through this. I'd be looking for a sell probably like somewhere up here or something like that. But apart from that, I'm not getting in any other buys because this was like my ideal situation here. I'm not going to change it. The most that will happen is I'll miss out on the day.
So if you were bearish today, then how come this bullish trade, the second last one?
What? Sorry, what's the question?
Yeah, so your bias was bearish, right?
Yeah.
For okay, so how did you arrive to this trade? Like, you must be
Okay. Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
for this.
No. So because I know I'm waiting for that liquidity sweep into my refined order block, it might not have reacted to this order block. It could have reacted off like anything like higher up. It could have reacted somewhere up there. It could have reacted somewhere up there. But this was my first like target to go short of, and because this was my first target to short of, I knew it was going to come back up to it. And obviously, by this move, say instead of this sharp move here followed by a retest, say it was a sharp move. I'll draw it to the side. Say it was a sharp move followed by like loads of like building up liquidity. I would have been going short on here, as in like if it built up liquidity while pushing back up, I would have been going short here. Do you understand? So because I knew I could take this buy to the liquidity because there's nothing resting inside of it, which screams I want to go short. And obviously this looks like just a fat fucking range to me. And this was my refined order block, so I knew it was gonna have to go short, but I had to like gather liquidity first. Also because it had all these multiple daily lows and like Asia lows as well. It had all this liquidity that it just swept after before entering this order block. Because it took all this liquidity, I knew that it had so much power that it needed to take a bit of liquidity from the other side first before pushing like lower. Do you get it?
Yeah, I get it, but I think it's crazy that you pulled off this trade
There,
when
it's
it
because there's so
just
much liquidity behind it, and this was like the first like 15-minute, half an hour order block here. It just made sense. Obviously, you can scroll further left. I'm sure that
yeah
it broke like some sort of like major structure.
yeah. Can you zoom into the entry part, please?
Yeah.
Now, if I looked at it on the Discord too, what were your thoughts when you were like seeing that these candles? So you saw the reaction and you instantly thought of entering, or
Well, so I had like few points marked up. Like I quite literally just had this analysis for the day where okay, I want to go short from here. That's my target to go short of. And then I noticed obviously in the morning it had a push down first. So I was looking for a buy up to this point of interest and looking on the 15-minute, obviously this point of interest here had already been mitigated. There's a fair value gap just underneath it right here that like you rarely see fair value gaps actually being like good points of interest to take buys or sells off of. It's usually made for like inducement and building up liquidity before
Yeah, I've
correcting off
never.
order
Yeah,
blocks
that's
below.
the conclusion I've come to. Like people always go on about taking orders off of like fair value gaps, and I never see it working, but
No, I've kind of learned it doesn't. It does sometimes, like if you're taking orders off like eternal structure. But yeah.
okay.
But so obviously if you're looking far left, you're looking for the next point of interest to be hit. Obviously nothing here because this point of interest has already been like broken through. This point of interest here already been broken through, already been mitigated here, already been mitigated here. Like there's no other order block. This is the first untouched, unmitigated order block that broke any sort of structure. And because it's underneath such like high levels of liquidity, you just know it's going to be like a great reaction off of it. So I didn't need to wait for a market structure shift or like anything like that. Because it had all the liquidity behind it, I knew it was just going to just fucking send. So the second it touched it, saw this good good point of that it didn't close within the zone. It just wicked it, which obviously shows that it doesn't want to hop in any further. Then I just hopped in. It was a bit aggressive. You could have waited for it to
very
print
very
a bullish
aggressive?
candle first, but I didn't really want to. I just hopped in there.
Yeah, okay. So your bias was already like pretty damn like sure that it was gonna react off that. So you just seen one tiny reaction, just was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, essentially it was risky, but after the big sweep of liquidity, first order block, it's kind of all I needed.
Yeah. Fuck me, bro. I want to get to your stage, bro.
It was a good day for me, to be fair. I've had a few losers the past like week, made up for
Yeah.
it times two.
What did you make today? Like 16, 17% or some shit, just from the look of it.
No, I made 60. I made 10% on this, and then 6.4.
Yeah, there you go.
And I was like, actually, no. That's complete bullshit. Sorry. I was risking 0.5 on both of them, so I made
Ah, okay.
8% today.
Yeah, okay. What's it called? Could you go over what you were like going over at the start, but just go mad slow?
Okay. So
It takes my brain like a minute to just
yeah.
get around
Okay.
it.
So refining order books, I find it. Oh, how can I explain this? Um, Trying to explain it in like really simple terms. Um, so once you have like your 15-minute or 5-minute point of interest, whatever, like whatever you're trading off of, maybe like you're trading off 1 hour points of interest, you could go down to the 15-minute and try and do the same thing. But essentially, once you have your point of interest, which for me was this whole zone here, I'm waiting for the last up move that created the whole downwards move. So the last up move for me is this whole move here, because obviously it printed a downwards candle followed by an up move, which then started the whole downwards move. Do you get it? So I know
Right.
that this little internal move here is what created this whole move.
Yep.
So I know that's my target for where I want to sell off of, because like um that's the last essentially range that like caused the downwards move.
Yeah, okay.
And for sales as well, say you're looking for sales, we'll just flip this upside down. How the fuck do I do this? Invert scale. So say we're looking for buyers, sorry. You're looking for the last like downwards move that created create the whole upwards move. So the last downwards move within this is obviously I've only inverted the scales, which would be this. So you'd be
Yep.
looking for buyers off of this, which is like see happened here. Get it?
Yeah. But
It
what
I
was it you were going over on how to like avoid the inducements? Because I feel like I get caught in a lot of inducement.
that, no th this is literally it, because you'll see. Let me invert the scales back. If you refine your order blocks enough, like if you refine them correctly and wait for them to get hit, you won't get caught in inducement, because you'll see here that this right here, this is inducement here, but it didn't hit my line, so I'm not looking for any sales. So all this inducement and all this like faking out and everything after before this, like it swept the liquidity by entering my point of interest. And
Okay.
if you notice, if you refine it correctly every time, then you'll notice that all the inducement happens before even hitting it, so you don't need to worry about it. 'Cause you're always waiting for it to get hit before you even contemplate entering anything.
Yeah, okay.
You know? Does that make more sense?
Yeah, I guess yeah. But how do you know like for me I feel like I choose the wrong POIs to even begin with, like to start like with. Like like I don't know, I just always like kind of get in at manipulation points. Like just I don't know, how do you like know which or get a better idea of which one it will like actually like have the move off?
So obviously, like I said, in like session opens and stuff like that, you're always looking for some sort of liquidity. So
Okay.
when I woke up this morning, I noticed that essentially on the 5 minute here, I was looking at it on the 5 minute. A lot of people would have just refined the order block just this candle, which obviously didn't even get hit. But I
Yeah.
refined it down to this for these two candles, because like it shows just internal range there, and I noticed that it had not been hit yet. And this was the original hit point of interest I'm taking shorts off of, obviously before I refined it. So I noticed that this order block here created this massive breaker structure here, built up loads of quick. So this is the trading range that I was looking at. This was my range at the time. Noticed it build up liquidity. I'm taking shorts from this range. Obviously, if you was on in the time, you could have taken like a buy from here type of thing. Obviously, if it was session time, it could have very well hit the order block there type of thing. But you could take internal buys if you're risky, counter trend to your sell point of interest. But I just knew, because it broke the structure, and realistically, if it carried on going up and you broke through here and closed above, my bias would have changed to bullish for the time being.
Okay. Yeah,
So
okay.
just have it. like your points of interest, they can be so simple. Just make sure they've broken some sort of structure and they've had liquidity built up inside of it.
Okay, okay.
That's
Yeah,
it.
that liquidity build up is kind of important. Yeah, I don't really take that into consideration.
I joined like it's quite funny. I joined a TikTok live today because I was bored. I'll be real. I was having a shit
Yeah.
most likely. But
Yeah.
I joined a TikTok live. This guy trading Euro USD. He had a limit order right here, and I was just looking at it, and like I was midway through my trade, like it was like roughly here, and I was looking at it, I was like, gee, just take away your limit. He
Huh?
didn't, but because obviously right here has no liquidity. Obviously, here's 5 minute bits of liquidity, but because it swept all of this like daily liquidity, all this session liquidity,
Yeah.
you know that it has to gather its own liquidity before continuing short because it has too much
Okay.
liquidity to be able to just push through it. You know, it has to grab something to be able to continue down.
Okay. And what he
You know?
didn't take away his limit, you just watched him take a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I just watched him.
So you just took his money.
Oh yeah, essentially. I
Yeah.
warned him as well. I was like, mate, it's gonna hit your stop loss. I'll be real.
Yeah.
Same to be an ICT student as well. So used to be an ICT analyst apparently.
Really.
Yeah.
Um.
You could tell he's like waffling out his arse though. He had no clue.
Yeah. 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 I think I
But
got in there. That's what I'm saying. Like I didn't really like. I don't know. I must have not. I don't know,
yeah,
bruv.
did you get in here?
I got in above like uh or like at the order block of news. Like I got in at yeah,
Where is
that
the
one
news?
about
What the
the
one that got
massive drop.
highlighted? Or are you talking about this one?
Now go left, like where your line is.
You talking about
Now that line, what's it called? There's like a
that? Oh,
line.
this
You've
one
got a
or
line.
this one?
Yeah, that like go left to 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
Yeah, there. That
Oh,
that
you
order
got on
block
that
there.
one? Yeah,
Yeah,
no, no, they didn't have enough liquidity on because
yeah,
obviously
that's what.
steep move, barely any build up. Obviously these points are liquidity as
Yep.
well, but like I said, because the news as well, news always gets manipulated. Like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I've never seen news that doesn't get manipulated at
What
all,
about
as in
the
like the order block. Because I know a lot of people watch the news and go, "Oh, okay, the news caused this break of structure. Let's just hop in." Like
Yeah,
it will always get manipulated.
yeah.
what
Okay.
And
about
obviously,
what about this entry, Tommy, at 9 o'clock? At nine, yeah, nine, yeah, this one.
what about that entry?
I entered over here, but it was a break even.
What like right here.
Yeah,
So this one, like I said, essentially, I know that you still have to take buys up to the liquidity sweep, certain liquidity here, but it hadn't entered the order block up here. So I knew it was going to continue being buys up to that. Nothing was clean. So obviously it was stepping down slowly, internal like bearish
yeah,
structure till
Yep.
sweeping this 5 minute liquidity here. Like it swept the liquidity, had a little bit of a reaction, and carried on
yeah,
trying to sweep a bit more liquidity before deciding to push up. You know. So
Yep.
yeah,
if anything, the only trade you should have been looking for anytime here is like a 1 minute break of structure, which happens here, which you could have entered on this tiny order block here or like that or something like that. That's the only realistic trade you could be looking for there. Because it hadn't entered your order block, you shouldn't be trading. You should just set your lines, set your limits. Wait for it to be hit. If it gets hit, great. Like have a look at entering. If it doesn't, don't stress.
Okay.
hmm.